The state of Idaho may have been the first to power a city with nuclear energy. That'd be ARCO in 1955, but that was short-lived. It only lasted about an hour. And our electricity generation has been non-nuclear since. However, that could be a thing of the past as well, with a local company wanting to build the Gem State's first ever commercial nuclear power plant. The project would use technology rarely used in the United States, but more cutting edge, they say. And they want to build the plant in the same spot that has already said no to a wind farm. So as you can imagine, not everyone who lives near that proposed site is on board with the plan. Here's Aspen Shumpert.
Jerome County could be home to Idaho's only commercial nuclear power plant.
Where we're going to be located is completely shut off from the public. It's in desert ground. They won't even, driving down Highway 93, they won't even see our operation.
Dan Adamson with Sawtooth Energy and Development Corporation says the company wants to build a nuclear power facility on 320 acres of federal land. He says most of those acres will be a buffer zone, but that the entire operation will be about 40 acres. He adds it would be one of the first in the nation to use small modular reactors.
The old thing of these 1,000-megawatt nuclear power plants are going to be a thing of the past. They're going to be ghost towns. And it's all going to be a single SMR or a cluster of SMRs providing the power that's needed, because they are so much more advanced, so much safer.
Adamson says the project will address growing electricity demands across the western United States.
But our plan right now is to wheel it, is what it's called, wheel that power to Southern California. But it'll be there producing power and shipping it 2 3/4 mile to the substation and being distributed all over the western United States.
The quote, Midpoint Small Modular Reactor Project Number 1 would be located on the same BLM land the Lava Ridge Wind Project was supposed to be, a project that was halted after President Donald Trump signed an executive order on the day of his inauguration.
The Midpoint substation is like a fresh kill to a pack of grizzly bears.
Some Magic Valley residents have concerns about a project like this impacting local water resources.
Rather than powering the places we need the electricity. We need it in Portland, build it out, set up outside Portland. Don't set 4 out of number 6 MMM in Jerome over your aquifer and my aquifer.
And others who worry about the environmental impact with a low benefit to Idahoans.
You cannot take one EIS from wind and solar and hand it over to nuclear because the environmental impact is different. But it's going to cost Idahoans, these residents here, the cost to distribute the power elsewhere for the middleman to make money.
Adamson says the project will need government support. KTVB asked U.S. Congressman Mike Simpson, who was against the Lava Ridge plan, what he thought about this instead. He says he needs to learn more about it, but it could be something he supports.
I had a gentleman tell me that the future growth of this country is not going to be hampered by investment and capital. It's the availability of energy, and that's what's going to hold us back. So we've got to have a firm supply of energy.
Adamson says right now, California has the highest demand for the power that would be produced at the plant. But if other states are needing it, like Idaho, those states will be able to buy the power. The project still requires approval from multiple agencies, including the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And Brian, additional public comment periods and more feedback will continue as we kind of go through this approval process, but very much in early stages for this.
Very much so. Well, from what I understand, it'd only be enough power if it were to be built to generate enough power to power like what, 400,000 homes, something like that?
Yep.
So if California is the one who wants a lot of that, I figure we're not going to be left with a lot here. So that could be detriment to that, I would assume.
And that also might be something that might come down the line years and years later for Idahoans to benefit from this, but it sounds like not immediately, if so.
And speaking of years and years, this technology that's only, I think, being used in 2 places around the world still is a few years off to being used here and approved.
Yeah, which is why this project would take years to even be able to come to reality. I think they said maybe close to 2030.
Yeah, all right. Still early stages. Thank you very much, Aspen.